start to the finish, John Curry did not put a foot wrong.
Hello, I'm John Curry, and I'm at the Dundonald International Ice Bowl in Northern Ireland. With me are 6 skaters of different ages and skating ability. This is Kathy Harrison, age 10, with 2 years skating experience. Kathy is taught by Catherine Howe. Neil Wilson, also age 10, has been skating for 2.5 years. He is taught by Phil and Sue Walsh. Sharon Coulson, age 13, has her inter-silver figure and free skating medal. Sharon is taught by Denise Scott. 17-year-old Emma Murdoch has her inter-gold figure and free skating medals, and in 1988, she won the British Junior Ladies Championship. Emma is taught by Carol Barton. And yet you don't have to be a child to start skating. Norma Stevenson has only been skating for 2 years. Terry Rooney, however, skated a little as a child and has recently taken up the sport again. Skating can be enjoyed at all levels of proficiency, from the first tentative steps onto the slippery surface, right through to the exhilarating feeling of freedom experienced when a skater has mastered the element and can use the special properties that a skate on ice offers. During the programs, I shall be working with the skaters on everything from just standing up on the ice and gliding forwards and stopping, right through to the demanding aspects of competition skating. But before we go on the ice, no matter what your standard, warm up. We've warmed up and now it's time to put the boots on. Well, if you're buying skating boots and you know nothing about it, it can be a little intimidating, but basically the thing to consider is the fit of the boot. If it's comfortable, try and get some boots which have some support but are not rock solid. The placing of the blades onto the boot is an individual matter. I personally have set mine somewhat to the inside because I'm rather bow-legged, and the idea is to line the skate up through the line of your body. So don't automatically be guided by the front seam of the boot. Look at the whole boot and try and find the center. Put a couple of screws in the front and the heel plate, and then test it on the ice. The easiest way to test skates on the ice to see if they're running true is to simply glide forwards on one foot. And if with no tension or pull in the body, and if the skate runs straight, in a straight line, then it's okay. Now, to actually lace the boot up, Emma's going to show us. Now, I think it's a good idea to leave the toe areas, this part here, rather free, so that your toes aren't squashed together, they're simply held, and that you can move your toes. One has to be able to sense the toes in the boot. It's important to get a good tension between about the instep right up to the bottom of the ankle, which has to grip. Never tie them so tightly that you lose the feeling in your feet, because it is very important that you are skating on your feet and you must be able to feel them. And I generally leave the top few eyelets rather loose, which allows me to be able to force the boot forwards and get more use in the knee. Now, the inside and the outside edges. Now, everyone is very confused about this, but it's really very simple. Emma, please stand up. The inside edges are these two, which are on the inside of the body. The outside are on the outside, and that's all there is to it. Right, so we're ready to skate now. We'll go onto the ice, and Norma is going to demonstrate for me how I would like to see a beginner come onto the ice for the very first time, the very first steps. Firstly, holding the hand and holding the barrier, just step onto the flats of the blade, both feet on the ice. Now just gently bend your knees to feel the ice, and then do some slip steps with the feet. Now, holding the arms out to get the energy going through the hands, take steps as if you were walking, but very small steps, lifting the foot, placing it down. Don't look down, that's... Okay, now try and balance. And balance. And balance. Good. I'm going to let you go. Now don't look down. And always try and feel that the energy is coming out through your hands, which helps you stay up straight. Okay. Right, now we'll stop. Now let's just take the same thing walking backwards. Just, again, don't look down, but just very easily walk backwards. Okay, now walk forwards again. Just literally as you would walk along the street. Okay. One of the common faults when beginners start is that they tend to skate like this. You see? Now, when you walk down the street, your feet naturally pass closely to one another like that. And it's the same with skating. So on each step, bring your feet back together. So 1, 2, that's the idea. So that they pass close together. Okay, right. Okay?
Thank you, yes.
Right, come on everyone, please. Good, thank you very much. Now let's start with the most basic skating, just simply gliding forwards on 2 feet. Let's form into a little group. Don't go right behind her, go in between. That's it, right. Okay, now, let's just all take one easy push and glide forwards on 2 feet. Making sure the tummy is pulled in, the back is straight, the arms, and then just bend the knees, nothing else. Just bend the knees and straighten. Take another push, bend, and straighten. Right. Let's turn around and let's try this again. And push forwards. Now heads up, firstly, arms nice and wide. And just bend the knees, nothing else. And lift, take another push. And feet together, bend the knees, and push. Okay, now, one of the most common faults in skating, when people, whatever they do, whatever standard, is when you bend your knees, most people tend to bend forwards. Now, in other words, when you skate, you have to bend the knees. All the power comes from the knees. It comes right down from here. There's no power in skating without these working, ever, in any step you can think of. However, bending the knees does not mean doing this. So you don't have to do this to skate. It can all happen without the leaning forward. So that's why I like to do this exercise of just standing, bending the knees, and straightening. Often it's not what you don't do that you should do, it's what you do that you shouldn't, which gets you in trouble. Right. Okay. Now let's see some forward crossovers. Let's start with Emma. You go on. Okay, Emma. Okay. Neil. Okay. All right. Now, generally, that's not too bad. Now, forward crossovers and backwards crossovers are the lifeblood of skating. This is what you need to master right from the beginning. Now, often people think, oh, you know, you'll be going into a jump and doing one thing and another, and you'll think, well, I'll go off and I'll do my crossovers, and it'll be like this. And it will look horrible. You have to remember that whenever you're skating, the most simple things have to be done with the greatest care. All right, now, let's see Emma skate again. Start it off with a little bit more use of the back. And lift the back up. Try to get the hips more forward, Emma, that's right. See if you can feel that you're pushing from here. That's good. Now, I will say this to you. You know that you're two-footing a bit,
Yes,
don't you?
yes.
Now,
A bit off balance.
yes. This two-footing forward skating is... Forward skating should be on one foot and then the other foot. There's only a moment when you're on 2 feet. That moment there, but then it's 1 foot again all the time. This business of doing this, sort of sliding the foot round the back here and sort of sliding it back there, is for the birds. Terry and Norma, you go together. Not holding hands, but together. Okay, now stretch the front arm to where you're going, the back arm where you've been. Try and relax in the knees and stretch the free leg. That's it, that's it, that's better. Head up, come on. Lift the chin, come on. That's it. Okay, right. Now, I want to show you some simple an exercise for the knees and to gain power. And it is simply to push forward, holding the leg extended to the front, change of edge, change of edge, change from the inside to the outside edge. Okay? Okay, right. The leg that is forward has got to be stretched and turned out, not like this, turned out, okay? Let's try that again. Push forwards. Don't look down at the floor, it's not going to help. Okay, Norma, just push forwards. Extend the free leg, pointed, turned out, and bend the knee, bend the knee, bend the knee. Have to use your knee more. Okay, there has to be more knee bend, more action of the knee. Because in skating, the way you get the power is by using the knee. And always in a change of edge, you can gain power. Let's do the same thing going backwards. Let's start up here. So on the right foot, just knee, 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 knee. You see, you can gain power. I'm not pushing, but I'm getting faster. See? And, come on. More knee, come on. Really go down in the knee, Emma. And try not to bounce about with the shoulders. Go down in the knee. That's it. Good. Just follow me around and we'll do some grapevines. Just gliding on 2 feet. Cross in front, cross in front, cross in front, cross in front. Right in front, left in front. Right in front, left in front. Right in front. Okay, let's do the same thing going backwards. Cross right in front, left in front, right in front, left in front, right in front, left in front. Okay, now there's no need to look down. It's not going to help, unfortunately. Okay. All right, now, why I think that's kind of a helpful thing to do, particularly if you don't look down, is that if you can think to yourself, I cross the right, I cross the left, I cross it in front, I cross it behind, wherever, without looking at it, which you must learn to do. You can't be looking at your legs to tell them what to do. You have to feel it, you know, from inside. Also, it develops the muscles inside of the leg, which are so useful in jumping and in all kinds of ways, on a spread eagle, for instance, many, many ways. But these muscles inside the leg here have to learn to pull in and relax, pull in and relax. Okay, now let's just do the same thing again. Now this time we'll just use the arms a little bit. Now, everybody stand, stretch your arms out. Feel that you can touch the walls behind you. Now, just very gently let them come down. Bring your hands slightly together at the front. and then just lift your hands up to chest height and open them. Okay? Just as simply as that. Don't let your arms go up past your shoulders like that. Here. Okay, let's try that. So, we glide forwards, and 1, 2. Okay. All right. Okay, now let's do the same thing backwards, using one arm at a time. So we'll do one arm, left arm, right arm, left arm, right arm, left arm. In skating, I think, probably one of the most important things we have to think about is trying to make the feet disappear, in fact. You know, make them be as little seen as possible and only seen when they're turned out and not with a toe stuck up to the ceiling like coat rack. Right, so let's do a little turnout exercise. We shall glide forwards on the right foot and bring the left foot forwards. So, on the right foot, and then just lift the left foot forward. Now, turn the heel forward and drop the toe out. That's very nice. Now, can you just feel the heel? That's it, feel the heel forward. Good. Neil, I think you can bring your heel more forward. I can see that you can all skate like this. So I should never see this, right? We shall see. Right. We've all got going, but how do we stop? Other than by going into the barrier or somebody else. So, let's start with some very basic ways to stop. The most basic is probably the T-stop, right? And that really, the principle of stopping on the ice is taking an edge which is running, so I'm running this way, and turning against the direction. And whatever kind of stop it is, unless it's a back toe stop, which we'll talk about later, it's about, we're traveling this way, let's all just glide this way. And we have to, our weight is going this way, our energy is going this way, and we then have to introduce that to stop us. Okay, so the first way to do it is a forward T-stop. The weight is on the right foot. Now, very gently, almost no weight on the back foot. And then you put a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and you stop. Let me see you do it. And so there should be a little weight, a little weight, a little weight, and more weight onto the back foot. Now, two other ways to stop, for instance, are forward outside, stop. Same forward outside, but you turn the other way. Yes, okay, now if you'd been holding yourself up a little more, you wouldn't have wobbled about there. Okay, now this is actually quite a tricky thing to do, we all know that. But because we're skaters, we thought, oh, this is easy. But I wouldn't advise someone who's just coming on to think, oh yes, we saw them go like this. Because the thing that we all know happens is that you catch the wrong edge and you fall that way. And talking about falling, which is the best way to do it. I've had plenty of practice, and I'm sure you have. Now, the thing is to kind of break your fall, right? So, the worst falls, I think, are when you're just standing like we are now, and you do that, and you go down on your coccyx, and that's very painful. But generally, the falls happen maybe when you're skating forwards. But I think that if you can possibly think about it in that moment, do try and relax. Do try to let your hands break the fall a little bit. Okay, so who's going to demonstrate falling over? What a brave soul. Come on, then. Let's say we're doing a teapot. No, that's a bit... And then you fall. Okay. Now, having fallen feels great. How do you get up? Now, if you're a beginner, the best way is to, firstly, don't sit on the ice with your hands like this, because your chances are someone's going to skate over them. So, firstly, look around you. Put your hands down close to you. Turn yourself over. Stand up. And pretend it never happened. Right, well, those are some basic skating moves, and let's put them to some music, because after all, skating is to music. That is one of the essential elements of it. So we'll just take, just as a little introduction, a step to the right. That was the left, wasn't it? Yes, I'm always doing that. A step to the left, a step to the right, put our hands behind our back, and we'll go forward inside, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then so there's 4 forward inside edges, right? Step to the right, step to the left, present yourself, 4 inside edges starting with the right foot, okay? Then we'll do 2 forward outside edges with a nice swing through, and we'll see how we go. Frida? Okay, let's try. Give yourselves a little space. Then put your hands. 3, 4. Okay, now let me watch. And head up. And now what have you got on your feet? Skates. And there they are. And stretch and swing. Come on, push. Now, outside. Push, swing through, head up. And head up. Okay, good, well done. Okay, well, I think that's enough for today. Now let's go and have a look at ourselves on the tape. That's a nice surprise. Okay, now just watch yourselves and see if what you see is what you thought you did, which I always find rather interesting. You see how you could stretch your leg much more to the back?
It's not high enough.
And it doesn't lift very high, that's true. Okay. Well, this week we've covered some of the basics of skating. Simple skating, stops. Next week we're going on to jumping, spinning, and some more advanced choreography, and I hope you can join us then.